I'm going to post. I want a new co-host. I want a co-host because you're not even the co-host.
Well, we have Steve Linné here. He knows his way around a microphone.
I'm turning you off because I have my new co-host on the line right now.
Oh, who's that?
He must have been busy. I'm turning you. You're done. You're gone.
No, I got to talk.
Your mic is off. Dean Thomas, what's up, man?
Hey, man, how are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm doing okay, man. Sorry about that. I got tied up with something, but I'm here now.
Well, I certainly appreciate that.
I got tied up with something, but I'm here now.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. First and foremost, I'm assuming that we won't see you on Radio Row next week.
No, I don't think I'm going to be on Radio Row next week.
Well, that's a shame. It was so much fun last year.
Yeah, it was. I had a good time.
How is life? How have you been staying busy in this, what we call the New World Order? We'll get to where you were last week, and I want to, details on that. But, just how have you been? How staying safe and staying busy?
I'm good, man. Like, I've been able to adjust really easily. Like, last year was flipped upside down for everybody. And it flipped upside down for me as well. So, like, I've been able to stay really busy. I'm in an industry that is thriving right now, and I'm living a life that I've created for myself that I'm just blessed to be doing. So, man, it couldn't be better for me in that aspect.
Is there a possibility that you could do training via Zoom?
I doubt it. I'm a hands-on guy. You know this, Randy. I'm a hands-on guy.
I know. I just, everybody else is doing everything by Zoom. I figured there's got to be some way, that you can do some of this by Zoom.
So, I mean, there's some video stuff that I can do, but, like, I like to be in the mix, man. I like to feel it, to smell it, taste it.
Last week you were in some small island with some small main event that a lot of people are very happy about. Talk to me, and we'll talk about Fight Island and some things about that because I still haven't gone out there. But let's talk about the job that Dustin Poirier did last Saturday night.
Man, Dustin was phenomenal, and I couldn't be more happy for him. I've known Dustin for a long time and watched him come up. I've watched him take his lumps. I've watched him come back. And for him to be in the place that he's at and to live in that space right now is just incredible. And I'm so happy for him. I'm so proud of him to have avenged that loss to Conor McGregor and in the fashion that he did it. And I had a nice talk with him to the airport because we were on a bus together going to the airport, and he was just telling me how he's never felt freer in a fight because, he's got money. He said he's finally got money. He's made money. And he's not fighting for that. He's just fighting because he loves to fight. And the fact that he got a chance to fight, Conor again, and he didn't feel like Conor's mystique this time. It was just fighting another guy. He felt good about that. And he said he's never felt freer when he stepped inside that cage and the lights came on. Now, before the fight, he said he was a little stressed, but when he got in there and the fight started, he said he's never felt better. And I was just so proud of what he's done.
Did it seem, because a lot of people have called in and a lot of people have texted and tweeted and all that kind of stuff, that it seemed like it was not taking anything away from Dustin, and I want to talk about game plan and all that stuff. But it seemed like, it was a different Conor. It was a more calm Conor. Matt was bringing up about, there was no trash talking. Of course, how do you trash talk to Dustin Poirier? I don't think that's possible.
He did the first time.
Did you? Well, yeah. No, I'm saying Saturday night.
Yeah, it is a different. But everybody's different. Right? Everybody evolves as people in some fashion, and this is what Conor is in his life right now. I mean, he's a guy who was hanging out with Tony Robbins. So, like, Conor's a different person right now. This is who he is. He was a different person when he fought Donald Cerrone. He murked Donald Cerrone. So he's a different. I mean, the reality is that he got exposed. Dustin Poirier exposed him. He exposed his. And what I'll say this, Conor's been really good about picking his fights and choosing the right battles at the right time. Dustin's a guy who fought everybody, so he has more experience in that realm. So what it was he got exposed. His inexperience got exposed, and when Conor goes out there and knocks a guy out, he doesn't get the experience of being in a war, a battle. So when he got into a war or battle with Dustin, Dustin took his best shot. He got exposed, and that's really what happened.
You know, I've talked for years and years and years, and I always say about game plan and how do you have a game plan when you don't know what your opponent is going to do on your first this, your first that. With that said, Dustin's game plan was incredible. It was awesome. And as people sat back, it's like, why is he just throwing the leg kicks? And later on, it showed why.
Yeah, I believe in having a game plan always. I mean, you look at any other sport that we know of. I mean, think of it, like the NFL, like their whole week is dedicated to game planning for their team that they're playing. And it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference when you know what your opponent's going to do. Or you could trap them into doing what you think they're going to do. So, you know, it's important. And they knew that Conor wasn't good at taking leg kicks, and they knew that Conor panics when he gets in a little bit of trouble. And you're right, they had a perfect game plan. You know, not box with him, kick him in his leg, and then if he gets come down. And that's exactly what he did.
When you put a game plan together, Dean, how many, if they do that, you do this. If they do that, you do this. Do you have to prepare for?
You want to prepare for as many of them as you can, but then you also have to leave some wiggle room for flexibility. So, like, that's where you kind of draw the line. I mean, you have a game plan and go, all right, we expect him to do this. We know he's good at this. We expect him to do that. So you have those answers, but then you also go, well, if he doesn't do any of that, I still got to know how to fight.
Makes sense. See, that's why we have the expert on, because I just make up stuff as we go. Since you were there, you're tight with everybody there. Why was that not for the title?
I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. I think perhaps it was, we still want Habib to come back. I mean, Habib, I think that's what it is. Like, if Habib comes back, he's the champ. So I think there's still some let's get Habib back.
Do you think he'll come back? I mean, I think he's the type of person, and of course, everybody who says never again, not almost everyone that says never again, almost everyone who says I'm done, I'm retired, they do come back, no matter what it is. Do you think Habib is the type of guy that would come back?
Well, I sat and watched an event with him, the UAE Cage Warriors with him, and he loves MMA. You could tell, he still trains, he trains every day like he's fighting. I mean, it's just a matter of him just waking up one morning and go, you know what, I'm not done yet. I mean, he's 32 years old. He still loves the game. He's taken no punishment. He's got no damage on his body. I think there's a good chance he could come back, but it has to be on his terms.
Sure. And it could be. I mean, Dana could offer him, the kitchen sink, who knows. What was it like, and I know you've been out there before, talk about the experience at Fight Island. I saw a tweet that you said and some of the things that you guys have been doing out there. Let us know, what have you been doing out at Fight Island?
Well, I was out there at a different experience than the fighters were. So I was out there actually with Dana, which is like being in royalty in Abu Dhabi. So, I had a little bit more luxury and some leniency in what I could do. Like I had an opportunity to leave the bubble a few times to film looking for a fight. So that was good for me. We got it. And that episode is out. Like, you can find that on the UFC's YouTube channel. Looking for Dana White looking for a fight. I was also filming the Dean Diaries, which is going to be airing, I think, next Monday on YouTube, on the UFC's YouTube channel. So you can look at that. In which I got a chance to look at. I'm giving everybody a chance to look inside the coach's perspective. So I got a chance to talk to some of the high-profile coaches that were on this card. So I think you will appreciate that. But other than that, you just hang out. Most people go to the pool and just train and just hang out. The last time we were on Fight Island, we had a little bit more leniency. We were able to go to the beach, but this time they really locked it down because there was still too many COVID cases.
Take me back in time. I don't know if I ever even asked you this. How did you get this gig? Did Dana just call up one night and say, I think you're the guy?
No. There was another guy who was on the show, and he had an argument with Dana, and he had beef with Matt, and, it just wasn't working out. He wasn't very easy to work with. And so they got rid of him. And they were like, man, who can we get? And me and Matt Serra had always been friends, and we were on the show together, The Ultimate Fighter Season 4, and they go, who can we get that says no to that never says no? Who can we get that never says no? They said, Dean Thomas. Then they called me and they said, hey, do you want to do this show? And I said, sure, I'll do it. I said, and they said, you got to leave tomorrow. I said, perfect. I got a bag in the car, man. Send me my ticket and I'm out. And I did. And I was on a show that was like 4 years ago.
Was this said person, did he just get dropped on planet Earth to figure that he can argue with Dana? How did that go down?
I don't know. Well, I think he had known Dana for a long time, so I guess he thought he had some liberties that other people don't have, that he could speak his mind to Dana. But, you know, and he could, and it didn't work out for him. But you know, that's on him.
What's the craziest thing during, you know, any of these, you know, broadcasts that you're doing with Dana and Matt? And, you know, we've all seen some of them. I don't know if people have seen every single one of them. But what's the craziest thing that in the back of your head you're thinking, I don't really like this, but like you just said, I don't say no?
Swimming with sharks. Yeah. That's easy. And the funny thing is we did that right, you know, 20 minutes from my house when we filmed the South Florida episode. We did it in Jupiter, Florida, swimming with sharks. And sometimes I think back to that experience and go, what was I thinking? Why did I do that?
Because you don't say no.
Yeah, I don't say no. You're right. I still can't believe I did that.
What fight are you most intrigued, you know, to watch? Whether it's booked, whether it's a made up, you know, it would never happen. What fight would you really like to see?
I want to see, and I know this because I just answered this. I want to see John Jones and Stipe.
Okay. As do a lot of people, as do I. Do you think that will tarnish? Will that tarnish John if it's not competitive? Will it tarnish John if he doesn't win?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we know how great John is. I mean, John, you know, what tarnishes him is his behavior outside the fight, the cage. You know, I don't think. In fact, it could probably make him great. You know, like everybody needs a rival or everybody needs a loss to see how they bounce back from that. So, like, that's what makes fighters great. Is like, how do you respond when you have a tough fight or when you lose? Can you come back? And I think that's what people resonate with because nobody's perfect. And I think that as human beings, when we look at these fighters and they're that's why I think nobody really likes Mayweather because he comes off as perfect. But no, we're not perfect. So like we like to relate to people that aren't perfect. I think a loss for John Jones would be good if he comes back and fights harder. So I think that would be great for him.
You know, I've argued that numerous times with, you know, and I know, and you're one of the many people that tell me stop arguing, get off social media, all that stuff. But, you know, people that bring up John Jones and the GOAT status and things that happened outside of the octagon, they do the same thing here locally with Warren Sapp. And I keep trying to give my opinion that what they've done outside of the sport shouldn't affect where their ranking is of a greatest of all time or in the top whatever on what they've done in the sport.
I mean, you're 100% right about that. But I mean, in terms of like legacy and what they'll be remembered for.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Dean, so coming up in March 13th to be exact, the After the Cage documentary, you know, the final round essentially. Like if you were in that documentary, what would you want to be remembered for after your fighting days? Like, is it your coaching, your stand-up comedy career?
I can answer that for him.
Okay.
Can I answer for you, Dean?
Yeah, please.
His very first interview and how awesome it was.
That is true. You were my very first interview, man. I was so nervous.
We had a great time. I remember that.
But do you think about your legacy after the fighting days? Like, are you like what do you want to be known for after the cage?
I think for me, I like being a Renaissance man, someone who was able to do it all. And you know, I might not have been the best fighter, I might not be the best commentator, I might not be the best any one thing, but I was always pretty good, and I could always hold my own in anything. And I like that idea that you could put me in any situation, and I'll hold my own. I might, you know, 50 points, but you know, I'm gonna get my 12. Just, you know,
Dean, I always ask, how do I politely put this? Athletes that are no longer active. Is that an okay way to say it?
Retired.
Well, I don't like using that word. You know, have you ever thought about, you know, if you were fighting today at the younger age that you were when we first met? It's, a lot of people have different answers to that. Some would like it, some wouldn't. Have you ever thought about it?
I thought about it a few times, and I don't know. I think I would still do pretty good. I mean, obviously the competition is so much better today. Everybody is better. But I still think I would do pretty good just the way my mind works, because I feel like I'm always still ahead of people in the thought process. Even with the game, how the game is today, I still think that I'm mentally better than most fighters are. So I think I would still do okay. I don't know. I don't know if I would do better than I did before. I think I would be okay.
Well, on the flip side of that, where I think you would, is that everything is different. The training would be different. How you train is different.
For sure. I'd have different research, train better. So, yeah, I would still be okay.
I remember asking all of you guys back in the day, MMA's just starting here in the country, and, people don't like it, people didn't watch it, and as things changed, and I would always ask, how big can this sport go? Did you ever expect it to be at the level that it is now?
No, I mean, I remember the first time I saw UFC on a plane. I was sitting on a plane, I was watching Bobby Lawler fight, I think Kobe, and I was like, I can't believe I'm watching the UFC I'm 30,000 in the air and I'm watching the UFC on TV. I couldn't believe it. And it almost brought a tear to my eye, because I remember thinking, like, that's what I always wanted, was for my sport to be recognized as a real, legit sport and not just some underground fight club. And to see where it is today, it's mind-blowing, and I'm just so happy that I'm still involved in it.
I got that feeling, honestly, last year at the Super Bowl on Radio Row. I've been around, longest running, blah, 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 blah. And I said it to Dana when he came on the show, is what it meant to me to see all of the athletes, all of the MMA fighters, all of the UFC fighters walking around Radio Row, and all these radio stations that would never give our sport, and even though I shouldn't say ours, the time of day, wanting everybody on, wanting to talk to them. To me, it was like, holy cannoli, it has made it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're there. We're there with the best of them.
Now, 4-point-whatever billion. Yeah, you're definitely there. All right, we're almost at the top of the hour. Before I let you go, fill everybody in on when they can see you again, when you're YouTube, when Matt wants to come see you perform next time.
I want to open for you.
No.
I got material.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait. Well, you can find all my stuff on my social media, Twitter, Instagram, at Dean Thomas. Dean is spelled D-I-N. Thomas is T-H-O-M-A-S, at Dean Thomas. Check me out. I'm trying to be everywhere. Everywhere you turn, you're going to see my face. But 2021 is going to be my year. You can't get rid of me.
Unfortunately, this is radio, so people will not be able to see your face right now when I tell you we're going to send you some wicked good cupcakes.
Oh, I can't wait.
Dean, always great to talk to you. Love you to death.
Pleasure,
can't wait to see you.
All right, my man. Let's see you soon.
Always great to talk to you. Take care. That is Dean Thomas. He is such a cool
Dean's
dude.
the man.
Yeah, he truly is. And it was his first interview. At Buccaneer Training Camp in Orlando.
Wow.
It was craziness. All right, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go.